Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always, and we're getting ready to roll down this I-45 again, man. We got a whole lot of news that broke over the last couple. Them Bucks.
Woo!
Fear the deer.
They did
it. Man, I told you. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Huh? Did I tell you?
After the Lakers went out, you told me, yeah. The Lakers went out, and then all of a sudden you were a Bucks fan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I couldn't cheer for the Lakers anymore. So what do you want me to do? I got to get with another team. I got with another team. That team was the Bucks. The Bucks would have did it.
What did you think of the game last night, though?
I thought it was a great game. Chris Paul, like we were talking about, there was a little bit of mistakes. He made a couple of them last night that definitely put him in the conversation of, is Chris Paul a legitimate Hall of Famer one day now, without getting that ring? Me personally, I put him in the Hall.
I think he's a first ballot.
I don't know if he's a first ballot Hall
I
of
do.
Famer.
I do.
So I don't know. Chris Paul put himself in a position, man, being up 2-0. Okay. And then the Bucks come back and sweep them pretty much.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, it's got to be sad times in the Paul household these days.
Also, Devin Booker, though. Devin Booker was nowhere to be found last night.
I don't know what happened, man. It seemed like he couldn't buy a bucket. It seemed like he was not the superstar that he was built up to be over the whole playoff series.
Well, I mean, he's coming off those back-to-back 40-point games, and then in the game where it really matters, where you're going to lose, if you lose, you go home, you're nowhere to be found.
It is it's true, man, as far as the jinx, as far as playing in somebody else's house. You're just not the same, man. You just don't feel the same. The shots don't go in the bucket the same way. The bucket is not as big, seem like, you know what I mean? You got your spot at your stadium that is going to go in almost every time, but seem like when you're away, those spots seem to go away, and it's crazy. It seems like you should be able to play at that same level because you're a professional basketball player, but it is something serious. It's real.
Oh, it's absolutely real. And then when you look at though on the other side of it, man, Giannis Antetokounmpo went out there, man, had one of the. And here's the thing: I've had my issues with Giannis, just being a Rockets fan and his back-to-back MVPs. You felt a certain way about him, but you have to put all that aside. I think everybody, if you're a basketball fan, has to marvel at what we saw last night because it was nothing short of extraordinary. A 50-point closeout game with 15 rebounds. The guy was the only one on his team doing anything. I love Middleton. I love Holiday. They were nowhere to be found last night. Only had short spots. The second best player on the team last night was Bobby Portis. You know what I'm saying? My guy. This is my guy right here.
Bobby, he was hyped, man. He was hyped all night long, man. And what impressed me more about Giannis was the free throw line.
Yeah.
He stepped up, man. He knocked down, 14 out of 16, something like that?
Yeah. I think he only missed 2. Mm-hmm.
And just impeccable at the line after that being the Achilles heel when he was in Phoenix, So it definitely, he played every aspect of the game exceptional, man. And I give Giannis and the Bucks. Big props, man. Like I say, fear the deer, man. Fear the deer. Those guys did it in a small market. Not being that super team per se, even though they got some super extraordinary guys on that team. Those guys, man, they played hard. And I'm gonna tell you, Milwaukee, man, they're gonna be partying for days, man, because don't nothing come through Milwaukee if you other than a beer.
The thing about Giannis, to me, Giannis solidified himself as either number one or number two in the entire NBA last night, right? I think that you could say he's the best player on the planet at the current moment. It's either him or KD. It's either him or KD.
You know what? I'm not going to even get into that conversation as far as the best player in the league, because when you got guys like Steph Curry,
Giannis is better.
I mean, you could say that. You could say that. But if I put Giannis at the 3-point line or the free throw line, I'm betting on Steph Curry each and every time. When it comes to a clutch shot, I'm betting on Steph Curry each and every time. Giannis, he's a great player, just like Akeem Olajuwon was a great player. But would I put Akeem Olajuwon over Michael Jordan or Clyde Drexler or a lot of those players?
I put him above Clyde. I put him above Clyde. But my point is this: if to go to your analogy, if I had to pick two guys who are going to go 1-on-1, and you got Steph, I'm going to pick Giannis to take him 1-on-1, and he will take that man out.
Well, one thing about basketball, it's not a 1-on-1 game.
Sure.
You got 5 guys out there, and if everybody ain't clicking, properly, even though Giannis was the guy who picked up the slack, those guys, Middleton and the rest of those guys, they wasn't playing that bad. They didn't lose the game or anything like that. They didn't go out there and make catastrophic turnovers after turnovers or anything like that. Those guys played, but Giannis just happened to step up that night. It could have easily been Middleton, one of those other.
Well, he happened to step up for the entirety of the series. I mean, 3 or 4 40-point games, a 50-point game, first one in finals history.
Yeah, I'm the one who bet. You the one who bet against him.
But I have to
look. The one who bet against him. I said Giannis was all that in a bag of chips.
Well, it sounds like you're not now.
No,
I feel like you're backpedaling.
No, I'm not backpedaling at all. I'm saying that you talking about the best player in the league.
He's in the conversation.
You're talking about giving him that number one spot. Me personally, I can't do that.
He's not in the conversation.
It's like professional wrestlers. It's so many of them that's so good and got so many different characteristics. It's hard to say which one is the best unless you put them in some kind of a competition where you could definitively say this guy is the best guy.
We do. It's called the NBA playoffs, and Giannis won them.
I mean, Giannis didn't win the play. He won, like the team.
Finals MVP.
The team won. You think Giannis could have won the game by himself?
Well, he did last night.
I beg to differ. You think the 4 of those guys could have sit on the bench or did nothing, played no offense or defense, and the Bucks?
No, obviously not.
You're talking nonsense. You're talking
no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying without Giannis. Look.
Wait a minute. That's exactly what you just said.
No, it's not what I said.
Without Giannis, you said Giannis won
the MVP,
the playoffs pretty much by himself.
No, that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is he was the Finals MVP last night, and without him, they wouldn't have even sniffed a win. Now, Middleton could have sat down. They probably still would have found a way to win the game.
Without him, they wouldn't have been in the playoffs. Without him, they wouldn't even been, nowhere near, where they was. So that's here nor there. What you're talking about is like, apples and oranges.
Let me ask you this, though. So you're saying he's not even in a conversation for one of the great players in the game today? No,
I say I'll say it all day. He's easily one of the greatest players that ever, picked up basketball or put on a pair of sneakers. But as far as being the best player in the league, I can't say that. I just can't.
So who do you put number one? Just curiosity.
It's hard to say. Like I say, until you figure out some kind of a contest where these guys can 1-on-1 play each other, perhaps in some kind of Big 3 league or something, like Big 1 league.
Big One.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I guess
that's the only way we would literally be able to figure out who's the best player. And my thing is this: Giannis, he's a great player, but
sensational.
But my thing is this: if I had to bet on him going 1-on-1 with Steph Curry, I would bet Steph Curry every time, because Steph Curry is going to be shooting threes. Giannis is going to be shooting twos. And Steph Curry is going to get there way before he get there. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, we could agree to disagree on that, but I think that at any point in any era in the league, there's been an obvious number one and number two, or at least top three best players in the league, right? When Michael was playing, it was Michael essentially every year. LeBron has had a great run, maybe 8, 9, 10 years in a row where you say, without a shadow of a doubt, he's the best player on the planet. Kevin Durant, I think, held that title for a couple of years. And I'm saying with this win and that 50-piece that Giannis put on everybody last night, he solidified himself as being in the conversation for one of the best in the league today. He's top. If you don't want to say top two, you got to give him top three, top four, best guy in the league.
Maybe top 5, top 10.
He's
but
been top 10.
I'm not gonna put him in the conversation as being the number one player in the National Basketball League. I just can't do that, just because, like I say, if you put him one-on-one with the 3-point shooters, he's going to lose every time. That's just fact. It's just fact. That's just what the game is today.
But he can defend Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't defend him.
You think he can defend Steph Curry?
He could defend Steph Curry. He's 7 inches taller than him. Let him put his hands up.
Steph Curry will make that.
He'll make him dance.
You saw
he'll make him dance.
You saw Giannis almost break his leg. I'm going to tell you right now, if you try to cover Steph Curry, he will break both of his legs. Guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
And that's a stunning elbow to the face. Oh, and look at this. She just raking Angela's face across the middle. Oh, my goodness. That's hard to watch.
Oh, man, what is she thinking?
Oh, no. Top rope suplex. Superplex from the champion. If enough damage hasn't been done already to Angela, that has got to be the exclamation point. She's looking for the 450. Oh! From the top rope. She's calling for shooting star press.
Star press.
Shooting star press cover. 1, 2, 3.
Sucker.
Shoop. Welcome back, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame, and we got a whole lot to talk about. Like I said, we've been talking a little basketball. Bucks went out there and did them boys, man. I'm going to tell you, I picked it. I should have put some monies on it when they was 2 down. That's what I should have did. I should have put some monies down on it, but I didn't. I'm not a gambling man or anything like that, but I'm just glad to see the Bucks go out there and get it done. See, we got a super chat, man. We got super chats coming in, man.
Yes. Let me get over to my super chat screen, and here is our first one of the day, right here, right now. There it is. All right, sorry. Booker, would you consider coming back for commentary for SummerSlam?
These guys ready to get into talking some wrestling, man. All right, that's cool. It's been news breaking. Consider doing commentary for SummerSlam. I wouldn't mind doing a match or two. I wouldn't want to sit the whole SummerSlam or anything like that. Plus, I gotta get to that Pacquiao fight. That Pacquiao Spence fight gonna be going down the same night. And I want to be able to see a little bit of the festivities. But no, man. I love being able to sit out there for like one match. That right there is actually fun to actually had the best seat in the house for a minute. But I like what Pat McAfee and Jimmy Smith and those guys are doing right now. I'd rather be on the outside looking in opposed to actually being at the desk full time. And plus, I don't want to get back there and say something and they say, man, Book's good. We got to get him back out here on a week. Hell no, we ain't fit to do that. If I could be me for a minute and go out and do my style of commentary, call it like I want. I mean, hip toss, body slams, arm drags, do it like I wanted to do it. I might get to have some fun. But no, right now, man, I'm loving what I'm doing. The kickoff show, I'm having a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, but you've done, I don't know, in the past, like last couple of years, they bring you in, you do a match at WrestleMania, you do the you did the Royal Rumble in Houston, things like that.
Bad Bunny match.
The Bad Bunny match at WrestleMania, yeah.
Stuff like that is fun, actually, because I don't have to really, because people talk about Michael Cole all the time, but if you knew what, went into what in that 3 hours entail, the landscape, man, you got to really be able to navigate on a weekly basis with every one of the talent. It's mind-boggling. It really is. It's like, the Matrix. You got to be a certain type of person to be able to read it. And for me, man, it is such a time-consuming job to have to actually be up on that, man. It's not as easy as those guys go out there and make it look. So that's why I say, man, I give those guys props. I don't mind being out there for a minute, but when I do commentary, when I do the kickoff show, it's 3 or 4 of us out there. It's only an hour. We're talking in sound bites. You almost can't screw it up. You know what I mean? And that's my comfort zone, as well as being able to be funny, being able to really just have some fun and just go off the cuff. That's why I like doing the kickoff show a whole lot better.
Yeah. And we talked about how difficult that job is, I think, a couple of days ago on Monday's show, I think, talking about Michael Cole and everything that Pat McAfee has brought to the broadcast. And you and I were talking the other day, that Jimmy Smith, I had my doubts. I got to say, after the Adnan Virk thing and then bringing in somebody else who wasn't necessarily a wrestling guy, I did say on the show, him coming from MMA would be a benefit. More than coming from baseball. It's kind of an easier transition. Yeah. I didn't think that he'd end up working out as well as he has. Jimmy Smith has done a really good job. I think he's still trying to find his role a little bit, but overall, he's actually added to the broadcast and he's been a really good pickup. So I wanted to make sure I said that on the record that I,
let me say, I don't know if he's added anything, but he hasn't taken anything away. I'm just playing.
No, I mean, you can make that. Well, here's the thing.
I'm just messing with Jimmy. I'm just messing with Jimmy, man.
But when you think about commentary, sure, they should elevate the broadcast, but you never want the viewer at home turn into his friend and having a conversation about the commentary. You want them to have a conversation about what's going on inside the ring, right?
If you're talking about the commentators, you're not in the right frame of mood. Right. You feel in a certain way about what you're seeing, because the commentators are there to make you really get excited about what's going on. I always equate it to like back in the 30s where they had the boxing matches and you could only listen to it on the radio. And that had to be a really good commentator to really bring you into the moment of being in that arena with 60,000 or whatever, 100,000 back in the day, listening to that little box and getting it so excited. That's what I always equate the commentator to. And you got to be, I can only imagine, how good those guys back in the day had to be. So yeah, man, it's a rough gig. It's not something that's easy at all.
Yeah, no, not in the slightest. We have another super chat real quick before we move on to our topics of the day. So let me hit that again there.
Super chat. Boom.
FBGM Loso at the 199. I wonder what that means. We need you for at least stone match. Oh, at least one match at SummerSlam. I'm like, what is Lee Stone? Is that a luchador? I don't know what Lee Stone is. Kalisto? You know
at least one match. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I forgot to put. Yeah, man. I'm serious, man. I love to get out there and do my thing. My thing is, man, I don't want to wear out my welcome.
Sure.
When you call me, my thing is I'm always available when I'm available. So if I'm there, bro, all you got to do is just hit me up and I'll come out there and do my thing. Give me a minute preparation time. And then I'll go out and do my very, very best. And I tell you, man, the commentary time for me when I was out there, I was having fun. But sometimes I got to the point to where I felt like I was searching. And that's a point that you never really want to find yourself on live television searching. That's why I give guys like Michael Cole so much credit, because he's never searching. He knows every it's like a good wrestler. He thinks 2-3 steps ahead. He knows where he's going well before he gets there. And that's what really, really good commentators do. So yeah, had a great time doing it, but hopefully SummerSlam's coming up. I will be in Vegas early because I'm going out, to get me around a golfing. We'll be playing some golf out there. Be hanging out, like I say, for Pacquiao Spence. I'll be out there for SummerSlam. I'm going to be just making all of the rounds. So guys, if you see me out there, if you see the BT out there, the 5-time, WCW champ, the 6-time world heavyweight champ, the 2-time Hall of Fame, if you see him out there, just snap a selfie with him, brother. It's all good. It's all good.
Just say hello. Well, there's been a lot going on in regards to SummerSlam. Like you talked about, there were some matches that seemed to be set up on Monday night, some official challenges made, some other ones inferred. We had title changes, we had debuts, we had re-debuts on Monday night, but also the number one story has been 2 free agents who might be playing the markets. So where should we start here?
I think the people, I think we need to give the people what they want. And right now, the news out there is CM Punk is seriously in talks about making an in-ring return. That right there is huge. Daniel Bryan, status with the WWE is definitely, on the other side of things right now. Look like Daniel Bryan may be looking to cash out. That right there, man, this takes me back to the mid 90s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
WCW, WWF back then, WWE now, the wars, guys jumping ship. I swear, man, this mirrors what it was back then as far as the landscape of the business, almost in a sense. And for me, man, from the outside looking in, it's actually good. I love it. You know what I mean? I love it because I know the business, was at its best when the war was going on, when guys were jumping ship. You was wondering if guys were going to jump ship. You wondering if somebody's going to defect. It's you watching what you say in the locker room. You going out to the ring and say, man, I'm finna go out here and steal the show tonight because this is the way I thought. For 1 second.
Let's hear it.
When the Radicals left WCW, I'm talking about Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, who else was in that? That
Perry Saturn.
Perry Saturn.
Chris Benoit.
When those guys left WCW, I was like, man, the war is on, And I just got promoted to general. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring the war, baby, and step up and put myself in a really, really good position. That's the way I looked at it. I didn't look at it, for any other reason than that. I say, man, this is a time. A door just opened. A window just cracked open for me, and I got to sneak in and do justice. And that's what I did. When those guys left, an opportunity open for me. So this is what I look at when I see stuff like this. When someone like a Daniel Bryan may be stepping away from that spotlight. A guy like CM Punk might be showing up on the other side. If I'm anywhere in the locker room, my mind is turning, and I'm thinking about, man, okay, where am I going to land in the thing? More importantly than anything, and how can I move up the ladder? So for me, I like what I'm seeing. Hopefully, the war will get bigger, better, stronger, faster, and all of that. But guys, we're going to talk about it. You're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
because of Andre the Giant.
Right.
How was it to work with Andre?
Oh, he was great. I mean, the guy was, the classic gentle giant. I mean, he really was that. I mean, he was the sweetest man, and he was so smart. I mean, really smart guy. He told us stories about when in this town that he was from in France, that he used to go to school, that Samuel Beckett would walk him to school. I mean, so these are the kind of influences he had. But he was an amazing guy. And one story, he also could drink pretty good. He was,
Yes.
he liked to drink once in a while. And one day he comes to work, and I said, Andre, what'd you do last night? He says, I went to the bar, had a couple of drinks. I said, well, what do you drink? He says, I had about 6 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of cognac. I said, Jesus. I said, you must have been drunk. He said, no, I don't get drunk. A little tipsy, but not drunk. So he was a great guy, though. Really sweet guy.
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, man. Yeah. My thing is this. Out of sight, out of mind. CM Punk has been away from the game for a minute. And I always tell the story about when I used to be a dancer back in the day, pop locking.
Rhinestone Wrangler.
Break dancing, breaking them suckers down back in the day at all the talent shows and, all the, like the after parties, whatnot. McGregor Park on Sundays, 16, 17 years old. I was bad. You know what I mean? I'm serious, man. I mean, Booker, you know what I mean? They didn't call me Booker T. They used to just call Booker. Booker. You don't want to mess with Booker. All right. And that's the way it was. Everywhere I went, I had a reputation for being, top dog as far as dancing in the neighborhood. No joke. My wife, she don't believe none of them stories. You lied. You ain't done nothing. But I'm serious. I was bad. And then girls came in the picture. Started running around with the girls, started trying to chase and whatnot. I stopped practicing. I wasn't thinking about my dance and my dance moves, and I wasn't watching the latest shows as far as where to get the best dance tips from or anything like that. I was just like I say, just running around. 20 years old now. I'm still thinking I'm pretty good, and I see these young cats coming up, and I'm going, wow, and these guys are so good. I'm like, oh, good God, where did he get that from? Man, how did he, so I'm like, okay. People like Booker, jump on him, man. Go ahead and take him. I'm like, nah, he don't want none of this. Trust me, dog. You don't want none of this. So I would literally talk my way out of dance contests when I was around 20. I would not put myself in position to go out there to, make myself look bad. Now, that's what I'm thinking about with someone like CM Punk, who's been away from the game for 7 years. And I'm not, look here, I'm not hating or anything like that. But my thing is this. Even as great of a physique as I have right now.
Don't put yourself over too much now.
At 56, okay, right. But my thing is this. When I got like in my 40s, mid 40s, even though I still look good, I had a phobia about taking my shirt off in the locker room with the young guys. I was like, man, these guys look great, man. I was like, God, man, this guy looks good, man. I'm like, so I had a subconscious thing that I was working with there, even though I still look good. So I was thinking, man, maybe my time has passed me by. Maybe it's time for me to, start doing something else. So that's when I say, as well as, man, am I losing a step? Man, can I get my sidekick? Man, do my scissor kick still look the same? So I start questioning myself when I got to a certain age, and I say, man, when you start questioning yourself, it's time to move to something else. So that's what I'm coming from with the CM Punk thing. Can he go out there and still do it? Yes. But have the game change tremendously in the last 7 years? Yes, I think so.
Absolutely. It absolutely has. And I think that there are, with CM Punk, you know, he was one of the guys who was heralded for his work rate, like was one of those indie work rate guys people would talk about. So I think it'd be harder for him to say somebody like a Hogan, right? When Hogan would come back to WWE after a long layoff, people just wanted to see one thing. They wanted to see him drop the leg. You know what I mean? Hit somebody with the boot and drop the leg. It wasn't the most physically intense thing that he had to do. I think there would be a certain pressure that CM Punk would put on himself and a certain expectation that fans would put on CM Punk to come back and do what he was doing before he left all those 7 years ago after the 2014 Royal Rumble. I mean, we're going now on 8 years, 7.5 years, right? That is a long, long layoff. But would I want to see it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see CM Punk back inside of a ring, be it in AEW or be it in WWE. And that's my question to you. What would be the better landing spot for somebody like CM Punk? A style that is a high-paced style like an AEW or a style like WWE? What would your assessment of that be?
You know, I think CM Punk, the best place for CM Punk is the the place that want him. You know, the place that want him the most. I don't think it's
I want him the most.
No, I'm serious. That's the way I look at that thing right there. I mean, CM Punk has been away from WWE for quite some time. He didn't leave on the greatest terms or anything like that. Will he be welcome back if he was to come back? I'm sure, yes. But is AEW a softer landing spot? Maybe something new? Maybe a fresh start? You know, perhaps, yeah. But I think the place that wants him the most is the place I think CM Punk where he needs to be. I don't care if it's New Japan, AEW, WWE, or I don't care what it is. You know, reality wrestling. You know,
you want to get a couple tune-up matches in, brother. You know, before you start making those dates.
Yeah,
I mean, making the towns. You know, coming down here. But tell me if you think that I'm wrong with this. Do you think that Daniel Bryan, because that's the other side of the story, is Daniel Bryan no longer under contract with the WWE, no merchandise available on the site, you know, not on any internal documents, according to sources, whoever sources are, but that's what they're saying. If Daniel Bryan goes to AEW, does that influence CM Punk in one way or another?
I don't know. Me personally, I can't say yes or no because I don't know how good of friends those guys, you know, were. I know CM Punk, when he left the business, he cut ties pretty much with everybody, you know.
Right.
And
they were tight at the time. I know that.
Yes.
They came up through the Indies together, Ring of Honor.
I don't know. I don't know if it would. I can tell you this. No one's decision has ever influenced me to do anything in the business.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
I remember Kevin Nash and I, we left TNA at the same time. We, you know, we were supposed to be coming back from Main Event Mafia, you know, in the internet. That's what the internet was saying. And I knew I was in talks with WWE to come back. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll come back for the Rumble. And I remember Big Nash called me, my big homie. He goes, hey, Book, you know, you going to the Rumble, man? Or you coming back to TNA? I said, man, I'm going to the Rumble. He goes, me too. We showed up the same night. So that's the only time I've ever had any influence.
Let me ask you, though. I mean, but let me ask you, when you went to TNA, I mean, if Angle and Kevin Nash and those guys weren't there at the time, would you have still considered going to TNA?
Yeah. I mean, I went there. Yeah, because I didn't go to TNA for the fame or anything like that, or you know, I went to TNA just because I was sitting at home. They called me and they offered me a contract. The contract was nice, and I didn't want to be a guy that was just you know, corroding and, you know, my skills just totally deroding at the same time. No, I wanted to get out there. I wanted to get out there and I wanted to work. You know, I didn't, as well as it was a bunch of young guys there that I saw that really had some potential. So that's what I thought about when I went to TNA. More than anything, I thought about guys like AJ, Joe Rude, you know, Jay Lethal. I thought about those guys, and I was like, man, this could be something really, really cool to actually work some young cats and be able to almost school them at the same time if they were willing and open to be schooled. So I just thought it was a great time, something different for me to do at that time.
Okay, I guess just for me, it's like if I'm going to a new job and say I get the same job offer from two places, but I look at one place and it's like, oh hey, a couple of my buddies are there. They're over there. They seem to like it. They just, you're going over there too? It might sway me more to join up with them if I'm going to an environment with people I already know, I'm comfortable with.
Yeah,
Especially like you said, CM Punk had, not the greatest of exits originally from WWE. I think that for the most part, when it comes to business, those things can be looked over and bridges can be made where they were previously burned. But I would think if Daniel Bryan said, you know what, I'm going to AEW, I want to do something different. Daniel Bryan said in an interview during WrestleMania, he was trying to convince WWE to allow him to wrestle in multiple places. I don't think that, at least from the looks of things, is probably what the route WWE wanted. So I'm just thinking if he goes to AEW, I think that's where Punk ends up. That's just my scenario. That's my
I think Punk jail with more people in AEW these days than he would in WWE. I think the roster in WWE is totally different, other than a few guys like Roman,
Seth,
Seth,
Drew,
Mysterio,
there's a few guys who were there.
And maybe but I don't know how well he got along with those guys.
Kofi, Miz,
exactly, yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know what would be a great, a better fit for him. Daniel Bryan, on the other hand, Daniel Bryan's a worker. Daniel Bryan, even with the broken neck, he was chomping at the bit to get back and get back in the ring. So he's a guy that I'm sure more than anything just wants to work, as well as I'm sure New Japan is would highly see someone like Daniel Bryan and say, man, let's get him in here right now, and let him have a run. So yeah, I mean, options are open. That's what's so beautiful right now about the business. You don't have to, just work in one company and make money and make a living, especially guys like Daniel Bryan, who's already created his career. He's there. He's a made man. So it's just all about what do I want at this stage. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. So the Young Bucks, I had heard about these guys, but I didn't know them or anything like that. And they had a WWE tryout. And these two guys, they were, hanging in the hallways. It seemed like they were, I don't know, they were kind of like off to themselves. I don't know. I don't know. It just felt funny. And I was getting ready to do I was doing commentating back then, and I had my jacket, laid over this, piece of equipment, and I walked by, and one of the Young Bucks was leaning on my jacket, and I was like, "Hey, bro, that's my jacket right there." And he goes, "Oh, okay." I got my jacket and I walked off, and I was like, I didn't realize it, but they were there for a tryout, and I was like, man, after I realized it, I said something on one of the podcasts or our show or something. These guys didn't even shake my hand, and then next thing you know, it was a big thing going around as far as me not shaking the Young Bucks' hand. And then they started doing a thing online where, they wouldn't shake anybody's hand, and then, they had a thing with RVD, where they wouldn't shake RVD's hand. So I was like, man, you know what I mean? These guys are taking this thing to another level. Can't wait to see them. So I wanted to fight the Young Bucks. I want to get it to them.
You want to put hands on them.
I want to put hands on them.
Put those Fifth Ward beads on them.
Yeah. And we ended up running into each other at an independent show. And I'm still a little bit hot, And, so we end up talking and whatnot. And, we end up getting back around to what happened up in WWE as far as my jacket goes. And they go, bro, reason we didn't say anything to you, man, you're intimidating. Sucker! Shup! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm getting ready to watch Game 7 here. Look, wait a minute. Ain't no Game 7.
Oh, you suck. But the thing is this. I was only rooting for the Suns to see my boy Chris Paul get that ring, and it didn't happen. But you know who did get a ring? More importantly,
who that? Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
Yeah,
PJ Tucker got his ring.
You was gonna say that. Yeah.
I got to rock for my H-Town Cats. You know what the other thing is, and I want to talk about CM Punk. I got a couple more things I want to ask you about, but the thing that sucks about Chris Paul is before this finals, the conversation was always Chris Paul's great, but he never made it to the finals, right? Now the conversation is going to be Chris Paul is great. He made it to the finals, but you remember how he played in the finals? You know what I mean? Like he has another thing
right now,
hang
man.
over his
I'm
head.
right now. I mean, people can say what they want to say about Chris Paul. I've never been a Chris Paul fan. Okay, I just want to put that out there.
And why is that?
I'm not a Chris Paul fan. I mean, you know, it is what it is. We like who we like, and I got my, you know what, and it's my prerogative. It's my prerogative.
Okay, Bobby.
We're gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Well, before it disappears, let's hit it real quick, and then I want to talk more about CM Punk. But here's another
Super chat.
All right, and this one says from B Star, do you think Undertaker will wrestle at least one last match at WrestleMania 38 in his hometown of Texas? Well, more of a state. I think McIntyre or Lashley versus Taker would be great. Booker, you were a part of the retirement ceremony of The Undertaker back at Survivor Series of last year in November. Do you think it is likely that we will see The Undertaker back? He was backstage with his wife on Monday's show, but happened to take place, I think, down the street from where he lives. So what do you think, Book?
Wow, man. Will The Undertaker wrestle at WrestleMania 38 in his hometown, in his home state?
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, that's why I said his home state.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, it's really a hard question right there to answer. Well,
You think so?
well, let me just say this. I don't think he's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania 38. Okay. I don't think he's going to be in Dallas at WrestleMania 38 wrestling anybody. I just don't think that. But I can say this. I can say this. And I'm just saying it from experience. Just saying it from, what I've had to go through myself. The fight is the hardest in this business with yourself. So he's going to have a lot of time, man, thinking about, man, should I go back and can I go back and have one more match? You know, it's something that he's going to struggle with, for a long time. And if he stick to it, he'll be one of the only wrestlers who walked away and didn't come back and do it just one more time. Ric Flair, he had his retirement match.
Came back.
Shawn Michaels, he had his retirement match. Came back. Most of the guys come back for just one more time. How many people thought they would be seeing Goldberg wrestle in 2021? How many people would have even?
I would have never imagined.
Nobody would ever think something like that in a million years. Nobody. But in this business, as long as you can, find your way to the gorilla, the thing is, just push me in the direction and I'll do the rest.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about I'm glad you liked that one. It was funny. It was funny. I'll give you that. When you think about the guys who've left and never come back, I can only think of maybe even one guy. I think Steve Austin left.
Yep.
Right? Never came back.
Yep.
And it might be all.
That might be it.
That might be it. So, what is wrong with you? Will Undertaker come back? It's I won't say no, but I will still say it's highly unlikely because after you watch that Last Ride documentary with The Undertaker, he was so big on, I want to finish with a good match. I want to finish satisfied with the match. And he was satisfied with that, boneyard match
Yeah.
against AJ Styles, WrestleMania. Best thing,
You know what?
and the only thing to remember about that WrestleMania.
You know what?
What's
That was a great way to go out. But just think about what we just saw at Money in the Bank. All of those people, all of those fans, giving you that perfect send off properly that you will be able to, literally have, archived throughout the history and annals of time. You think it's not hard to, want to see that and do that? You think it's not,
I think it'd be very difficult to resist the roar of a crowd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
You live for the roar.
I think we might see The Undertaker make that walk just one more time. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be this year, next year. I don't know what it's going to be, but I do think we're going to see The Undertaker don the jacket and the hat and make that walk one more time. That's just my opinion.
Okay, well there you go. I mean, we will see. We will see. But let's get back to. I had a couple more things about CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. Do you think it would be smart for either one of these guys to sign an exclusive contract long term anywhere? I mean, you mentioned that Daniel Bryan's a made man. When you're a made man, you got options. You know what I mean? CM Punk is a free agent.
Yeah.
His first match will be very coveted, right? So he's got options. He doesn't have to say, look, I'm going to sign to AEW for the next year. He can say, I'm going to sign to AEW for one match. Get that money. Move out of there. Go to New Japan. Go back to Ring of Honor. Hell, I'll go Dallas, WrestleMania. He will have that flexibility. Daniel Bryan will have that flexibility. So do you think it'd be smart for either one of these guys to sign a long-term deal?
Let me tell you something, man. I've been in this business a long time, okay? If Daniel Bryan is smart, if CM Punk, is thinking about coming back, it's a window. There's a window here, okay? Mm-hmm. And the window is closing. It's closing very, very quickly. My thing is this. I remember when me and my brother, we first got into business, and we were working here in Texas, and the Global Wrestling Federation down in Dallas, they were on ESPN, and they had some money. They had some money down there, and my brother and I, we wanted to go, and finally we got the opportunity to go to the Global Wrestling Federation and get a tryout. And Tiger Conway, he was a guy who we was working with here in Houston, and he found out we was going to Global. And what he said was, he said, guys, y'all thinking about going down to Global, huh? We said, yeah, we think about going down there. He said, well, before y'all go down there, I just want to let y'all know the money is gone. Okay? If these guys smart, they better get that contract signed, inked, just in case the money happened to not be there. They could always do their own thing. That's going to always be there. But that money that's going around right now, you better get on it, sign it, and be able to sit at home and relax. Because the thing is, you don't want to have to go to Japan if you don't have to. If you can make your career right here in the States and make money doing it, I think you'd be perfectly fine. I know I was. I went to Japan. It was cool to take the trip, you know what I mean, and do that. I mean, but to actually have to go there, get on those buses and make those drives all the way through, I mean, God knows wherever, you know what I mean? Come on. You don't want to have to do that. You don't want to have to go to Germany, and France and Italy, if you don't have to, you know what I mean? You don't want to go. I mean, you want to stay right here. And with someone like a company right there in Florida, boom, I'm moving to Florida. I'm going to give me a house. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. So I say, do it now, because one day the money could be gone. It's just my opinion.
Listen to the wise words of Tiger Conway Jr. The money is gone. Well,
And trust me, when we got there, the money was gone.
It was all gone. There's no more. He was right. By the way, we didn't mention this on the show when it broke last week. CM Punk's second fight was overturned. The decision was overturned. It's now a no contest.
You know why we didn't mention it? Because it wasn't nothing to mention.
Well, he's in the news right now, so I wanted to mention that was overturned in case y'all didn't know. Yeah. But going back to him, last thing on him. You were away from the ring for a few years before you did a match with your brother at Reality of Wrestling, right?
Yeah.
I think there was like a 4-year gap or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me afterward, the day after, you felt like you got hit by a truck, right? Like you were sore. You made it through the match. I would have never known there was anything wrong, right? You made it through the match fine, but you said the next day you felt like you were hit by a truck. Okay. Do you think with 8 years of layoff, even though he's been in athletic competition, right? He's been through the grueling process of a training camp twice, right? I mean, that does take a toll on your body. But do you think with almost 8 years off that CM Punk can handle, I don't know, the grind of being a professional wrestler? And you know what? Can your body withstand all that stress and pressure on it if you haven't been in the game consistently?
It's going to take me a minute to answer that. We got to take a quick break. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Shup. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Oh man, yeah. Let me answer the question. The question was, can your body go through something like that? Can your body take it after that time off? The grind of actually having to, the body shock all over again. Talked about the match with my brother and I after, me being on a like 4-year hiatus. And I tell you, I could tell the difference between, my last match and then the match with my brother and I. And I tell you, it was a huge difference. I could feel it. I knew I wasn't the same person I was, 4 years earlier. And then, a couple of years later, when I had the match with my student, Rex Andrews, that's on YouTube. I think it's got like about 5 million views or something like that. I don't know. But
just a couple.
Just a couple. That match right there, I could tell I lost even more of a step. And the thing is, I'm in the gym training every stinking day. All right, I'm working hard. But when you work out in the gym, it doesn't equate to the ring at all. It's totally different. It's nothing can get you in wrestling shape other than, just getting in the ring. You got to be in there doing it. No treadmill, no Stairmaster, nothing is going to prepare you for actually getting in the ring. And that's just the way it's always been. I remember that match with Rex Andrews. I trained my butt off. I'm on the bike in my house, every day, 30 minutes. I thought my cardio was good. I'm thinking, man, we finna go out here and, tear the house down. I'm finna bring the, Booker T of old back. And I remember we had a spot in that match where I was gonna do the spinneroonie drop kick and go wherever from there. And by the time we got to that point, we were laying on the floor, and I got ready to do the spinneroonie, and I actually said a prayer before I did it because my body was spent. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to do this spinneroonie," and then I got to do like a duck, drop kick after that. And I remember praying to God, and then I remember telling him, "Throw that drop kick out." Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was serious. I was like, bro, let's skip that. We'll just go wherever. But no, it ain't as easy, when you're away from it. I've said it many times. I say time off is your worst enemy in this business, any sport. Just think about a track star being away from the track for 5 years. Usain Bolt. It could be Usain Bolt. It could be, I don't care who it is. And then they come back and try to win that same race 5 years later. They're going to lose. They're going to lose every time. I don't care if, a fighter take 5 years off and come back and try to fight and beat somebody at that top level. Muhammad Ali did it. The greatest fighter in the world, took off 3 years. And he came back and he fought Joe Frazier, a guy that, he beat, 2 times. But the first time he fought him, he got beat and he almost got knocked out. So the game, I remember Chris Carter retired from football. Okay. He unretired. The first game he played in, he retired again. Because he was like, man, I haven't been hit like that. And that's just the way it is. You think Tom Brady could retire and come back?
Several years later.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to, that's just not normally the way it is. Wrestling, of course, we, get a little bit of a pass. We get a little bit of leeway because of what it is. It's entertainment. It's art. It's like, being a great actor. But actors aren't getting hit and getting slammed, and their bodies aren't going through trauma. And that's what the wrestling business is. It's trauma when you're out in the ring getting body slammed or jumping off the top rope and dropping an elbow, turning a backflip and landing and nobody home. It is trauma on the body. The human body is not meant to do professional wrestling. It really isn't.
That I can agree with. And we've seen so many people try to come back or have injuries that keep them on the shelf for a long time. It is a rough go, but I do want to say, in an update to our conversation that we've been having all show, this just breaking 15 minutes ago, it is recording to bodyslam.net, is also being reported by Ringside News. Again, I'm reporting it as just a rumor, but this is what an inside source has reported, so I just will say it right here. In addition, I was told, in an update as to the future of Daniel Bryan, also known as Bryan Danielson, a source I have spoken with has told me he is locked in and 100% already signed a contract.
Brad, what happened? Oh my God. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Come on, Brad. Where you at? Come on, man. Come on, Brad. Where you at, bro? Okay, you guys can still hear me? Okay, look like we're almost
We
back
are
now.
back. We
Okay.
are back. There we go. So, Booker,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up where I left off here.
Pick up where you left off because you had something there and you froze right before you delivered the.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. In an update as to the future of Bryan Danielson, also known as Daniel Bryan, A source, according to Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, an inside source that he has spoken with, has told him that Daniel Bryan is 100% locked in and signed a contract with All Elite Wrestling AEW. That is being reported as of 15 minutes ago. And Daniel Bryan is the #1 trend on Twitter. This has not been confirmed by Daniel Bryan or AEW, we should say, but it is the inside report, Booker T.
Hey, bro, there it is. I'm not, look here. I like Nate Diaz. I'm not surprised. I'm gonna leave the last part off. But I'm not surprised at all, man, as far as guys, making this switch and, going over and, it's war, man. It really is. And these guys have every right to actually, do it the way they want to do it if they're not happy over here. Daniel Bryan has had a great career in WWE, and he was making money even on the independent circuit. This guy has put in the work. So I'm not going to hate. I'm not going to hate. And the thing is, WWE shouldn't hate either. Basketball players go to other teams every year. You saw LeBron James leave Cleveland and say, man, I'm going to South Beach where the women at. It's hot. The big houses. It look good. You know what I mean? So, no, I understand. I get it, man. I get it. And if I was one of those guys, I might be thinking the same exact thing. If just like a Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's been in WWE for how long?
Since 2010.
And the thing is, it's not like it used to be. Like back in the day where guys wanted to have a 20-year career in WWE.
Right.
And the thing is, it was different back then. It's a total different time right now with these young guys and the way they see this business. It's their world right now. So I can't sit here and hate on anything Daniel Bryan is doing. One thing about Daniel Bryan in AEW, he's going to be able to pretty much, write his own ticket, go out and have the matches that he want to have, go out and create the stories that he want to create. And that's what a lot of times, a lot of these guys are looking for. I always wanted to be able to create and do my own thing as well. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that in WWE. That's why I got Reality of Wrestling. I say, I'll create my own stories. I'll create my own angles. I'll name all the guys. Like one of my greatest names that I came up with was Captain Kirk.
James Kirk. I got it.
James Kirk. James Kirk. That was a good one. But that's what guys want to do. I think they want to be able to do their own thing right now, man. And AEW is giving a lot of these guys a chance to do their own thing. I was looking at the Murder Hawk. What's his name? The big guy in AEW, Lance Archer.
Oh, Lance Archer.
Yeah, and he was saying, man, this is the best year he's ever had. And he's so happy, because Lance Archer, he's a guy that's been out there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that's been working in Japan, and a lot of times when you can't get work over here in somewhere like WWE, you go to Japan. And he went over to Japan and he did, pretty well for himself. And now he's in AEW and he's been there for a year. Man, that's like, didn't I just say it a second ago? You don't want to have to go to Japan if you don't have to.
Right.
And now, like I say, to be able to go over on a tour, it's cool. But to have to leave America, your home, to go there, I don't know how many times out of the year, to make a living here, it's really, really hard. And I'm sure a guy like Lance Archer is saying, man, I'm sure glad AEW is here because I got a job. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah. I see everybody in the chat right now, man. Everybody's thinking about CM Punk signing somewhere. I mean, Daniel Bryan signing somewhere, man. It's war, baby. It's war. and I like what's going on, man. I like everything what's going on right now. But where we at, man? Where we at?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we spent a long time talking about Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. We'll see, by the way, if there's any update before the end of the show today regarding Daniel Bryan, if it's official or not. I will make sure that I will keep an eye on the news ticker and confirm that 100% if we have the opportunity to. But we have to talk about a couple other things that happened, Book, and this was one that you want to talk about getting people in a frenzy, making people feel some type of way. Monday night, Raw, there was a lot that went on. One thing that happened was Karrion Kross made his WWE Raw debut. The undefeated for 18 months NXT champion.
Yeah.
Now, he lost rather quickly to Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy beat him kind of, without any real pomp and circumstance. And this set the internet ablaze and made a lot of people, including myself, scratch our heads and say, what's going on?
What would the internet set ablaze for? What they have to do with the show?
Well, I will tell you what the reaction to what happened on the show was. It's just like, hey, why are you bringing in this guy from NXT who's the NXT champion? You built him up 18 months, undefeated. He's got this badass entrance, has Scarlett on his side. You take Scarlett away, you take the entrance away, and he goes in and he loses his debut in a couple of minutes when he hadn't been beaten 18 months. People were just scratching their heads trying to figure out why do this. And then, so I was one of those people, I was like, I don't understand. I didn't get it at first. Then I talked to you yesterday, and we were talking about it on the phone, and you made sense of it perfectly to me. Now, I don't know if you remember what you said verbatim, but you really laid it out to where I said,
what did I say? Actually, what did I say?
You were talking about, look, you can't just bring this guy in, right, and keep this undefeated streak going. We talked about how being undefeated can really book you into a corner, make it difficult for you to progress as a character. And also, what better way to start off your run by having something to like an angle to actually chew on with a guy like Jeff Hardy, who's a veteran name, former champion, future Hall of Famer, gives you some good in-ring experience on the main show with a guy who's been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. I think there's something you said something along those lines.
As well as a lot of times, like I had heard that same thing as far as the internet went ablaze by, because Karrion Kross lost his first match, and I'm like, guys, it's not about the match. Most of the time it's about the story. Karrion Kross is a guy. He's the NXT champion, right?
Correct.
He's undefeated down in NXT. But one thing you guys got to realize is still NXT. All right. Who sent him to Monday Night Raw? Who felt like it was a good time to make a debut? I would think from a storyline perspective, it would have been William Regal. Now I don't know if you guys saw Karrion Kross beat the hell out of William Regal. Now he's got an angle with Samoa Joe. So everything for me it makes a whole lot of sense. Losing to Jeff Hardy in a match that everybody in the world thought, Karrion Kross making his debut, a match that he is supposed to win. Okay. But Jeff Hardy is still a veteran to the game. Jeff Hardy didn't go out there and beat him with the whisper in the wind either. Jeff Hardy stole a match from Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross definitely, almost like for me, it's like when I would work. Just say, for instance, I would take a baby face and push him to the turnbuckle. Just say I push him to the turnbuckle. And then I would give him a clean break, and I would open my hands wide as I possibly can, and look at the baby face right in his face, and then I'd turn my back on the baby face and walk to the middle of the ring. Now, this is a contest. The baby face is, he shouldn't slap me or he shouldn't hit me in the back. Okay. That would make him look a certain way. So when we're doing this, we're doing it for a reason. And when they did that, it was all for a reason. And you got to understand what the reason is. opposed to just trying to analyze it and think you know exactly the way it should have went because you didn't get what you thought you should have got at that moment. One of those type of things.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though. And again, look, your guess is probably as good as anybody's, but when something is working in NXT or in one arena with one crowd, and I'm really more so not even talking about his undefeated streak because you and I talked. I don't really like the undefeated streak thing either. I think it's like when Asuka came up or when Angle had his undefeated streak or Goldberg. It's like at some point it just gets too difficult to book that performer, and they have to lose. And whenever they do lose, no one's ever satisfied with it. There's no great way to really book it. But to go back to Karrion Kross. Him kind of separating him from Scarlett, I don't really understand that. Don't you think they were better as a duo? She really added, in my opinion, a lot to his persona on screen.
Well, the thing is, we don't know if we're not going to go that route. We don't know that. We just know Karrion Kross showed up on Monday Night Raw and lost and went back to NXT and got into an angle with Samoa Joe. We don't know if Karrion Kross is going to be back next week, and probably not. And when he does come back, we don't know if he's going to be with Scarlett or not. So I just think people jump the gun so much because it's like, instant coffee. They want, they want it right now. They want instant gratification. And I just don't think you can book the wrestling business around what the fans want on any given night or anything like that, because you will be booking yourself in the corner every week. You just can't do it.
You are right. It's almost like we want the person to show up on television, already be fully formed, figured out, and there's the total package. When you are debuting, it is a television show. There is some suspense to, now there's this mystery woman revealed. Who is the mystery woman, right? I mean, Scarlett. They were together in NXT, and you're adding some seasoning to the story that's going on. Perhaps during the Jeff Hardy and Karrion Kross storyline, that is when she interjects herself to get Karrion the win. I mean, there are a lot of things that you can see play out, and I do think, everyone has a tendency to jump the gun. No matter what, even in whatever medium we're talking about, if it's a storytelling medium, you want to see the end result before the end result comes to you.
Yeah.
I think that, as you said to me the other day, we got to just see where this thing goes before we rush to judgment. And I think that that's probably the best advice that you had the other day.
Well, I just think, when you watch it, you get so caught up in what you want. And that's what social media is now, where people can just go and voice their opinion about, well, Karrion Kross should have got this or Karrion Kross should have got that, when they're not looking at the big picture. This guy has been doing a hell of a job in NXT. He's one of the guys that I say, when you look at him, you say, man, that's a grown ass man. You don't want to mess with him. You know what I mean? He's one of those type of guys. And he's gonna do well. He's gonna do very well. The makeup of that match with Jeff Hardy, if you was a betting man in Vegas, you lost your house.
You did.
Oh, I'm serious, right? Because Karrion Kross looked like he was finna beat the hell out of Jeff Hardy, and he was cutting him no slack from the tie-up, from the outset of the match. He went off on Jeff Hardy, and you thought it was going to be something very, very quick. You thought Karrion Kross was going to be coming out of the blocks. You thought Jeff Hardy was going to be, getting put out to the pasture. That's what everybody thought.
Yes.
And if everybody thought that, we did our job. We did our job properly.
It's true. I mean, it's a sensational point. I mean, the thing is, if you see everything that's coming, what's the point of watching the show, right? If you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I even like this here part. I know we got to take a quick break. I even like the Keith Lee coming out and accepting the challenge, and then Goldberg coming out to, I don't know, put himself in position. And now Bobby Lashley said he's not accepting his challenge.
That's good.
It's good, man.
Wrinkle.
It's perfect, man. It's like just because you say you're next, guess what? You're not next now. So I'm loving, man. I'm loving the offsets and the what we used to say back in the day, hooking them and and locking that setting the hook in deep and reeling them in. That's what the business is all about. I think that's what's missing is those those moments to where it's man, they got me on that one right there. And I think lately because there's no way in hell anybody thought Nikki Ash was going to be the women's champion, right?
No.
Hey guys, we got to take a break. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
This is Booker T World Gym Arena in Texas City, the home to the Reality of Wrestling Training Center. It's a 20,000 square foot facility with more than 50 full-time students and wrestlers from around the world. Inside the World Gym Arena sits a 9,000 square foot venue set up for weekly shows.
From up top, 1-2 moonsault.
Where our students showcase their skills in front of a live audience.
What he's done here is awesome. He's created opportunity and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
In the back, a full weight room.
6 up.
Complete with state-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers.
There you go. There you go. Two more.
A full staff and office personnel.
One more.
Running the day-to-day operation. We have interview sets for TV production, promo classes, quarterly combines. We evaluate progression and team building. Referees, commentators, ring announcers, and live television production. At the World Gym Arena, we don't just teach you how to become a professional wrestler, but an elite sports entertainer. This is Reality of Wrestling.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, guys, make sure you check out my new show, The Indies, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. I guess tomorrow is going to be Danny Limelight, an indie star out there that's trying to make his way in the business. And I tell you, I wouldn't have him on the show if he wasn't a hell of a talent. Everybody that I bring in to the Indies and let them get a little piece of the action, let them get their champagne wishes and caviar dreams. These guys are really, really good workers. The indie world is vast. The indie world is just that, the world. And we're going to be bringing you guys from all over the world stepping inside the Indies just for a minute, guys. Check it out tomorrow at 6 p.m. as well as August 14th, Summer Champions 7. You don't want to miss out on that. All the championships will be on the line right there at 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, Booker T World Gym Arena. This is our biggest show of the year, guys. This is our WrestleMania. And if you're anywhere in the Houston area, Houston surrounding area, if you're in the chat right now, if you need some free tickets, man, I'll hook you up. Just let me know if you're in the area. We got so many people from around the world. It's so cool. But if you want to come check out Summer of Champions 7 and see some of the best indie wrestling in the world, let us know. We'll hook you up.
Yeah. Bringing back that old tradition that we've done on the show before. So make sure you hit us up if you are in that H-Town area and you want to get tickets. And by the way, Reality Wrestling Diamonds champion Promise Braxton, speaking of AEW, made her AEW Dark debut last night. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go see her represent for the Row on the AEW stage.
And like I say, I did mention you can see that my show, The Indies, on YouTube. And I want to thank all the subscribers, guys. We are less than 1,000 subscribers away from 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for getting us to that point. We want to make 1 million by the end of the year. And we need you guys to actually do that. So again, we appreciate you guys. We really do. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible that we're closing in on that 500,000 mark. But Booker, we have to talk more about Monday Night Raw. You talked about it. It seems as though, even though Bobby Lashley is saying the other, it seems as though that's going to happen at SummerSlam. And here's the thing. Look, here's the thing. I can admit when I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I can admit when I'm wrong. You know, I mean, I picked the Suns to win. Then Giannis goes out there and has one of the greatest performances in NBA Finals history, close him out with a 50-piece. He's the champ. I was wrong, right? I was a little bit up in arms about Karrion Kross taking the L. I talked to you, and then I realized it was okay. I was wrong. Now, on Monday's show, I said there's a spot for Goldberg. Do I want to see him in the world title match? I don't know. And you said, look, let's see how this plays out. I think that they can do it. And I got to say, after watching that Raw show, I was wrong. I was wrong. I loved how they set up the feud of Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. Now, does Goldberg just end up walking out and that's how all of his feuds start? Like literally, I saw a clip on Twitter. Every one of his matches since he's come back, he just walks out. That's how all
I'm next.
that's literally how every feud has started. Everyone, it starts with him walking out and saying, I'm next, okay? But the intensity that both of these men show, Bobby Lashley especially on Monday night, really sold the physicality that we could be in store for at SummerSlam in Las Vegas.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Bobby is the real deal. Okay. And the thing is, I've watched Bobby grow. Man, I've watched that guy grow over these last, I don't know, 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
To become, man, such a huge star, man. I mean, he really is a star. And I'm giving Bobby props, man, because, you know, him and I, we sit under, we sit in the locker room sometimes, you know, and Bobby, he was one of those guys who sat under the learning tree that worked with me. And, you know, we talk about some of the stuff that I used to tell him to do in a match, you know, and it's just so funny and it's just so stupid. It's so small, little bitty things. And I see all of those little bitty things coming to fruition now as far as him being the complete worker. Bobby's not one of those guys out there doing anything other than simulating what it means to beat somebody up and do it properly and do it gracefully at the same time, because in our business, you got to beat someone up, but you got to look good doing it. And that's what Bobby's doing right now. And I give him, you know, major props because Bobby's been put in certain situations where he's had to just figure it out. Like, for instance, with Lana, okay? Like with Leo Rush, okay? Now with, you know, MVP. But more so than any of the guys that he's been with, Bobby is different more so than anything. Leo Rush, he was one way. Lana, he was one way. With MVP, he has morphed into something that is special. And I love watching just his intensity, just his look in his eyes say, man, this is a dude you really don't want to mess with. I like what Bobby Lashley has created.
I think that Bobby, you know, this industry is all about timing, right? And Bobby, when he came back and he felt special, right? He felt important when he came back, but he didn't feel like he could have been the main event guy right at that moment, right? And like you said, he went through the thing with Leo Rush. He went through the thing with Lana. And then when he got into that feud with Drew McIntyre, I think early last year, the first feud that they had, I think it was an Extreme Rules match or a match at Extreme Rules. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, we talked on the show. I said, man, they should have put the title on Bobby that night. Like, it felt like he should have gotten the title. It just
I remember that.
It made sense, right? We talked about it. I was like,
yeah.
It was like, it made sense. And then he didn't get it. And so when he finally did capture the title from Miz, and that was a memorable moment all to itself, and went out there and retained against Drew, it really felt like the Bobby Lashley that we've always wanted to see had arrived. He has figured out, as you said, y'all would sit in the locker room, talk about the old things he used to tell him about his matches. Everything had that, it all clicked for him. That light bulb went off. oh, this is how you're the main event WWE champion. And when you want to talk about believability inside the squared circle, find me somebody on the WWE roster right now who is more believable than Bobby Lashley. The only guy contending with him is Roman Reigns. That's why those two guys are the top champions in the company, right? They sell it to me more than anybody. So Goldberg is intensity personified. And I think, look, is it going to be a 5-star classic? No. But are these two guys going to go out there and, as you would say, throw hands and slam one another and throw each other around, power it up? Yes. And will Bobby Lashley walking out of SummerSlam with 50,000 people cheering for him after he just, defeated Goldberg, a legend of the game? It's just gonna add to his ongoing legacy. So although I think I was just disappointed that we weren't going to get the Brock Lesnar match, this is the next best thing. It literally is the next best thing.
I agree. Totally. Bobby has stepped up. So I'm loving everything that's going on with Bobby. I would have loved the Bobby call out to Brock Lesnar. I mean, not Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. A little bit. That's the way I would have wrote it.
He calls him out?
Because like I say, I'd be looking for, like the Rock and Roll Express, if it was me and my brother, because I want the oldest, the slowest guys we can find.
This was your legend? These were your legends? I'm going to whoop their ass.
Exactly. That's the way I wanted it. I didn't want them to be able to keep up. I wanted to catch the Road Warriors when they was on their last legs. Beat the hell out of both of them.
Oh man, well, it's only going to add to the legacy of Bobby Lashley, of course. And look, Goldberg's not winning the title.
Super chat before we gotta get out of here in 2 minutes, man. Let's get this super chat.
Ralph Mack with the 2 Australians says, "Never would imagine you on the net back in 2000. Love you."
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. Just wasn't my thing, man. My thing still ain't. You know what I mean? It still ain't. The net.
Yo, man, how old are you to call it the net?
You've been around for a minute, right?
You've been around since the net started. You know what I'm saying? Call it the net.
Hey, man, that's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. We gotta get ready to roll up out of here.
We do, Booker T.
It's been an awesome show today, man. I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. Make sure you check out my show tomorrow, guys. The Indies on YouTube, 6 p.m. Central Time. My guest, Danny Limelight. Get some insight on this young man, military guy, former military guy. And that's what's so cool about this show. We get a chance to actually see these guys before they are the superstar of tomorrow. Hear their story. And the thing is, you're going to find out you got a whole lot in common with these guys. And that's what I always said. People hear my story and they say, man, if Booker T can do it, I can do it too. That's what this thing is all about. So check it out, guys. The Indies going down on YouTube tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Bradley, appreciate you, dog. As always, we'll see y'all next week, guys. We out of here.
Can you dig it, you sucker?